So we're going to talk about Masha Amini. She is the, I believe she was 22 years old. She's an Iranian woman who was caught by the morality police for not wearing her hijab correctly.
Do they have a fashion police out there too in
That's
Iran?
basically what they are, but I mean, out of any type of fashion police, these would be the most brutal. They took her and they were going to take her to like one of those centers where they kind of re-educate you on the thing that you fucked up on.
This is what a good Muslim woman does.
Yeah, this is what you need to do.
And then instead, she ended up dead.
Oh shit.
And they're saying that this is the official authorities are saying that no, she just suffered a heart attack out of nowhere, but she had no existing heart conditions. She's also really young, and everyone believes they're lying. And now there's huge unrest in several different countries and cities. There's protests going on right now. And because we have the stupid American luxury of protesting to absolutely no real consequence, out there's at least 30 protesters that have been killed up to this point.
By like morality police.
Because they're burning hijabs, they're burning pictures of the Iranian leader. They're going off and they're getting killed over it.
Yeah, I saw a video yesterday on Reddit of the Iranian National Guard pulling out AKs and shooting into the crowd.
Yeah.
Oh, they were blasting protesters?
They're just killing the women out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then like one of the morality police chiefs too, he got beat the fuck up. He was all bloodied and shit.
Oh, so they grabbed, they're getting some too.
They're getting some.
Well, I mean, they're killing their friends. The girls are trying to stand up for themselves.
So the girls are beating the guys up?
It's always around, yeah.
Everyone's just beating everybody up.
Yeah.
Are there men on the girl side too?
Oh, absolutely.
Because it's not just like a bunch of ladies like.
No, it's everyone standing up for it.
They don't know what happened to her. It's just that she got arrested and then now she's dead. And then so everyone's like, well, what the fuck?
Was it this the same story? Did you see that like they went to the center and they started beating her? Was it she went in
That's the one, yeah.
No, she went in
Yeah.
a coma. Like
Yeah.
they took and she like suffered, like she was having symptoms of like severe concussion. They finally took her to the hospital after like an hour or two of her suffering, and she went into a coma and passed away. But I think one of the friends was like asking like, what is happening? We need to take her to the hospital. And they were lying, saying, oh, that ambulance is for someone else, not your friend. But it was actually her friend that went there.
And they didn't allow her father to see her once she was already, dead. And when they finally did, her body was completely wrapped up, so you couldn't really tell. And then
Like a mummy?
yeah, other
She
than
was
her,
bruised everywhere.
other than her,
They
like,
beat her.
yeah, they fucked her up. Other
And they're
than
trying to
her,
hide it.
her head and her feet were out, and they said that she had bruises where you actually could see her flesh.
Wow. That's wild,
My
man.
question is, so they have these morality police, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do they also have other police, or is that like their police system out there? Like, what is this morality police group?
They're just, that morality police is solely for the, I believe, like the Sharia, Sharia law to be
They had them in
presentations.
Malaysia. When me and Bart went, man, was it during Ramadan? I forgot what it was, but they were saying like there are the guys that are here checking IDs and shit like that. So they don't care if you're Chinese or a tourist. Yeah. They're looking for Muslim kids that are violating their laws.
Right.
But they do have crazy laws. Like from all the places we performed at, this one was like guys on this side, girls on that side. And then they would say like if a girl comes up and hugs you, like you should probably just do like one of these, like none of these, like none of these, like the American style hug. Hell no.
Well, we can't go hug.
Yeah. But if they hug you,
if they hug us, it's like just do one of these.
do one of these things. It was like a lot of like a lot more, not just like stage briefing of the concert, but like these additional rules that you have to be really conscious of. You know?
Yeah, but they're not like Iran where you're getting your ass beat because you violated like alcohol rules or whatever, right? Like but those are the things that seems extreme for an American, but it gets for that I heard is loose already for a Muslim country.
Yeah.
So that's already relaxed. So like imagine a hardcore one like Iran, like oh, you didn't wear it right, and then they're beating your ass.
Why do they have to be like armed and stuff though? That's what I don't get. I mean, if you're gonna have that law place, give them a tisk and educate them if that's what you want. But like, you don't need guns and things to beat people with.
Yeah, and who really knows what goes on in the re-education centers?
We don't even know.
Yeah.
When I think I've seen a lot of people protesting around the world too, and like trying to, I guess, bring awareness to it.
Yeah.
Do you know what the overall goal is? Is it to get enough countries involved where other people have to, or humanitarians to go in there and kind of stop what's going on? Or?
It's hard. It's really hard to gauge that because you also have to consider the fact that whenever something like this that's kind of more on the anti-Muslim law thing is, like, it gets really juiced hardcore from a capitalist countryside.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if you're going to read the news in the U.S., they're going to go, yeah, we got to get everyone together and stop this shit from ever happening again. But then I don't think there's such a clear indication of how the people in Iran are protesting. Like, what is their actual real goal for them, because they've had their internet completely cut out. They can't even
that's the crazy
they can't
thing.
even like put out how they feel, like, as much as, you know, it's more like other news outlets that are filming them that are getting the info back out.
I thought it was pretty nuts already how the women were taking off their hijabs and burning them.
That's insane.
That already was
is
like,
insane.
whoa, because Nadeem was telling us that when he accidentally walked into one of his cousins or something like that in the bathroom, she did one of these. Cause then she's all like, "You can't see my face," and then like he was like, "That's the same thing as like if you walk into a girl and then you see her boobies, you know, that's how you can't see that shit out there."
Right.
So I was like, "Damn, that's fucking crazy, dude." Didn't you live in a Muslim country for a minute doing Bible stuff?
Yeah. I was a missionary in Iraq.
Holy shit.
Months. Yeah, I lived there.
They thought he was gay because he didn't have a mustache.
Isn't that like? Wouldn't you just be marked for death trying to spread
Yeah.
Christianity in a Muslim country?
Yeah, well, I mean, that wasn't... So the idea of, like, being a missionary there, it was just... I was just living there, living my life. I never was there handing out pamphlets and shit. Like, I made relationships with people and friends, and they would come to me and they'd be like, "You're a Christian, right?" And they just have questions.
Yeah, they're
Because
curious.
Muslims believe in Jesus, too. But I never wanted to cross the lines. I just was there to be their friends and make relationships. I'm a Christian, you're Muslim, kind of thing. And yeah, a lot of their idea of religion is based on morality, about being good and like reverence and these things. And at a certain point you can see, like, you know, so much of this stuff is just fucking bullshit, you know? Like, so they're...
What do you mean by like so much of it is bullshit? Like what specific
like
things?
what's right and what's wrong solely based on your behavior, because that happens here in America too, right? Like a lot of churches these days right now are policing people's social media and calling that Christian too, right? Like we have a morality police in a sense by whatever church you're affiliated to as well. But yeah, like there was obviously a lot of splitting of the sexes. There's like no alcohol in this. So to find alcohol where I was at was in the Christian village, because Christians are allowed to drink.
Hey,
Hey,
jeez.
might have to
There's
join
this
the
guy I met
church.
too. He had a tattoo. It said
tonight?
Christina, because that was his American Marine girlfriend's name. And he's Muslim, but he'd go to the Christian village to drink all the time, and they call him out. He's like, "No, I'm a Christian." Like, but it says Christina on his arm. So there's a lot of loophole jumping too, you know, because that's what I mean by so much of it's just bullshit. Like, I don't know, does that get you into heaven? You know, really? Like any of this stuff, like covering your head?
I think, long story short, it's just human rights. Like, people should be able to believe and do what they want. I'm not saying anything is right or wrong, but if someone believes in that culture and, you know, doesn't want to show their face and stuff, amazing for you. If someone was born there and people are telling them what to do and these women just want their own rights, I mean, it's that fine line. I just feel bad for it. I've seen so many videos. I think it's crazy. Like you were saying, their phones literally don't work. They cut off all their phone services. They can't text their family, their friends to make sure people are safe. That's why, like, they're so scared. One girl, like, finally got service to get, like, a TikTok video out or something. She's just crying in her room, like, I can't communicate with anyone or show what's going on. Like, none of us can.
Even
it's really scary.
even Anonymous, you know, the hacker group.
Yeah.
They came in and they took out a ton of Iranian government websites in an effort to like help the protesters and help people. They were like shutting down all these websites.
We need Elon to give them the internet.
That's actually what's happening, right?
Skynet, right?
Starlink.
Or Starlink.
Terminator.
Starlink.
Yeah, I think Joe Biden announced some shit to work with Starlink to get them internet access. But then in Iraq, I met a guy who spoke English. He learned it from watching Friends. And
So they watched like bootleg Friends.
For sarcastic.
Talks
Yeah.
like a sitcom.
yeah, he dressed up like Chandler and everything. But
Could there be any more protests?
he told me about how he had a girlfriend, but her dad disapproved of it, and I think he caught them in bed together.
Oh.
He told me that he had to go to the hospital he was hospitalized because he got beat the fuck up. Wow. And when I asked about his girlfriend, he was shook, like traumatized.
They killed her?
I think they killed her. Yeah. So that was the kind of shit, like, I like the kind of people I was meeting and living with and seeing, like, what morality means to them. You know, it's just such a crazy idea, really, like, of piety or holiness.
Hannah has a schoolmate where there's a big Muslim population in England, and she has a schoolmate where one of the students got into a relationship that wasn't okay by the parents. Something happened and the parents killed the kid.
Gee.
What?
It's called an honor killing.
Honor killing, yeah.
They killed the kid, and then because they wanted to save, you know, whatever morality reason for their family and whatever. But yeah, it's some crazy stuff, dude. Like it's just the culture and the rules are just so different. Like I don't know, man.
I think one of the goals, obviously, is just to get justice for Masha Amini, is to get the officials in the government to admit that
That
what happened
they
to her
did-
was wrong.
Because
It was
they're
their
lying
fault.
about it. They're
Yeah.
saying they had no part in it. Like
Yeah,
how
right.
She just shocked.
not guilty.
Weak ass heart.
Yeah. Youngest heart attack to ever just randomly happen from a healthy person.
and bruised all over.
yeah.
Like,
Like a lot of people think, if they don't study history, right, they think Iran is this extremist nation, but that's recent. Like they were one of the most secular and forward nations in the Middle East. If you see pictures from the 60s and before, 70s and before, they're like
It looks pretty
nice.
Yeah.
The cities are so nice. They're like modern, right? Yeah.
What happened?
Just like when you have a dictator in every country, they had someone called the Shah, and he was like a puppet leader of, I would say, some Western nations, and yeah, it was progressive, or like it was prosperous for some, not for all, because that's the unfortunate truth about new emergent nations, right? Like you have a lot of rich middle class, but you still have poor people that are down and out. It gives perfect opportunity for crazy ideals, like extreme ideals, to kind of seep in, and then that's where the I think it's Homani or something like that. It's an Iranian extremist leader. He came in, his crew came in, and all of them their ideas spread like wildfire, and then they took over. So like
What Argo is about.
Argo, yeah.
Yeah. Where they had all the Americans and Canadians had to get out.
I mean, when there's instability, or like there are people who are down and out, it's always perfect opportunity for crazy people to come in and swoop them up, just like Hitler did. You know, like every example, there's always somebody that comes in and they're like, oh, no one's giving you guys attention? Well, guess what? I'm here to help you. And then they rally them up, and then they fucking take over.
That's what happened in Egypt too. They had their, I forgot what it was called, something Spring.
Arab Spring?
Spring. And then the people rose up and pushed out their longtime dictator. But what happened in that power vacuum? They have a military dictatorship now.
Oh yeah.
And it's more corrupt than ever. Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy because like I understand the different cultures and how they have things that they value and they have customs and stuff. But I think it's pretty widely agreed that people shouldn't be killed over any of these things.
Yeah.
You know? Just as much as like
so severe.
Yeah, like it is kind of a funny thing. Like when you look at America and how like if you were burning a cross publicly, you're probably not gonna get killed over it. People are probably gonna wish you died.
It was celebrated like 50 years ago.
They'll say a lot of shit
The
about
police
you.
won't kill you, at least. You know,
Yeah,
like
there's
someone
no
else could, but like,
right. But they're gonna want you to die as much as people wanted Kaepernick to die for kneeling at the game. You know, but they're not. There's no assassins coming after him. You know, so it's one of those things where maybe that's a sign of a failed society from another point of view in a different country. But in general, it's like that's not a death sentence, and especially if it is, say that it is. Instead of
and hiding it, they know they fucked up.
Yeah.
If you have to hide it, then you're not like being like Singapore. Like, yeah, we threw him off the plane. That guy's a corrupt politician. Yeah. Singapore's badass. They'll be like, anyone who's corrupt, we're gonna take him up on the plane and we're gonna throw him out with no parachute. Oh, you're chewing gum, homie? I'm gonna fucking whip your butt with a freaking leather whip. You know, they're straight up.
Sounds nice.
They're like, that's how
nice.
I'll take it.
That's how they work, though. They're like, corrupt, you get executed. That's the thing. But at least they're honest about it.
Right.
It's
That's,
like, yeah.
that's the main thing, and I think that's where the injustice started. It's that like. Okay,
well, she just had a heart attack.
Because that culture already knows that there's a morality police, and they already know that that's a pretty big deal to like wear your hijab incorrectly. Like that's a known thing. But then they didn't sign up for this shit, and that's where it really is like, whoa. How the fuck did
no one should die for wearing their hijab incorrectly? That's just ridiculous, dude.
So hopefully there's going to be a lot. This unrest is going to be fine for all the rioters and all the protesters. It's what's crazy is that, you know, when we think about the luxury of having a protest out here, even when it's not peaceful, and you're fine looting the REI, nothing's going to happen to nobody. But then you see these and you're like, okay. That's really the thing right there. It's like they're getting killed for this.
That's wild, man.